What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Full Credit to the Boys, the post-match show for all you Warriors fans out there. And we get the victory over the Brisbane Broncos. The Brisbane Broncos that were missing a lot of stars, but still the Brisbane Broncos, guys. 32-16. Amazing performance from the boys. All our effort areas were all hit tonight. This is everything we wanted to see defensively. We were tested a little bit there, especially repeat efforts on our line, and we ended up coming away with the Chockies. 32-16, guys. Feel free to jump into the chat, guys. Tell us everything that you feel. I'm going to run through my thoughts overall on the game, my areas that I really keyed in on, like, you know, what I thought we did really well in this game. Then we might touch on a little things that we do need to fix up on, and then I'll run through and get your thoughts overall in the chat down below with your questions and stuff. And as you know, yes, that's exactly it, Jazzy. Get your man on for the show. I'm pretty sure he won't come through that door and talk to a whole lot of Warriors fans currently right now. But appreciate all the regulars that have come over from the live stream. If you missed the live stream, you want to see my raw thoughts during the game the whole way through, go check it out, guys. That's the best thing about YouTube. You get to see all our past live streams on What's Up TV. So good to see. Currently watching Roger getting interviewed and all that right now on Fox League. So good to see, right? So good to see. So good to see. We'll run through a couple of team stats for this game. They probably will update while I'm doing them here on NRL.com. Just usually because it'll be right away after the show. I might refresh it, so hopefully it is up to date. But as I keep saying, guys, a really, really fair performance. We definitely had a little bit of adversity in a little part there, especially coming out of halftime and having that Dean Mariner error not get called. The Broncos get a penalty off the back of that, get into good field position. We defend our line. They turn things around 40-20, bang, another field position battle. And the boys, you know, they gave up a couple of tries in there. But other than that, you know, Xavier Willison just running over the top of players. They had one really good set piece play on the outside and a try off a kick. Hold a team like the Broncos to 16 points, even though without a lot of their origin stars, is a really good sign from the boys. 32 points we put on there, so our attack is still there, which is great to see. So running into our possession stats here, guys, we got 55% to the Broncos, 45%. They definitely wrestled that back. Early on in the game, I feel like it was 74% to the Broncos, 30-something%. So quick math is well off here with Ash here. I'm from Caboolture, guys. My math is well off anyway. Time in possession, we had 26 minutes or 27 minutes with the ball. The Broncos had 22 minutes with the ball. We completed 80% to the Broncos 72%, which is actually pretty fairly good for the Broncos completion rate. It had a couple of errors out of the back end and all that, but the Broncos lately have had a lot of errors out of the back end. They're completing at like a 69% of the last 3 games or whatever. So they've definitely had that as an up click. That usually happens when they bring through a team that don't have their superstars. They try to play a little bit more conservative than that, and then they start to get into their sets later on in the game. They started to play a little bit more fuck it footy to really wrestle the game back, but it was good to see the boys, you know, hold in there, dominate through start to finish. To our run meters, guys, we had 175 to their 150, and we absolutely dominated in our run meter stat percentage here, guys, which is the best part of our game. 1,700 run meters to 1,100 of the Broncos, so 1,700 of the best, with 610 being post-contact meters is what we do so well. And I'll touch on a couple of things on the back of that too, guys, with our game plan and the reason why we do certain things. And this is the main area of it, is we are such a good team at getting out of our field position. Like, we get into good field position, the opposite end, we get into attacking, kicking position. It's the reason why a lot of people see that we like to kick into a corner, is because a lot of times we end our set with a 5th tackle kick within that 40 to 30 in the opposite end of the field. So it's an attacking bomb that usually is a preferred option in that area there. The only area we did lack really in this game is both line breaks and tackle breaks. So the Broncos actually had 5 line breaks in this game. From memory, I remember Selwyn Cobbo with 2. I think Ezra might have had one maybe in the middle of that, but I don't remember 5 completely. We had 3. It is what it is there. We end up getting the chockies, but we do need to fix up on that area because that's where we do lack this year. We are one of the worst teams for conceding a line break. Tackle breaks wise, 22-26. The Broncos get over us on the tackle breaks. Hopefully that maybe equals out with a little bit more updating because I did feel like we were getting a lot of dominance in the middle there too. Offloads 3-0. Pretty much every other part of the stats, guys, we won. The Broncos had more kick meters on us, 611 to 533. It's probably the option with our halves pairing of having Tamade Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita is not the best kicking options. When we have Shawnee there, we usually win the kicking meter game. But other than that, when we have Tamade Martin and all that, he's a gunslinger. He makes things happen, especially attacking wise. So it's really, really cool to see that, we didn't fully fall off there in that area there too. We forced 1 line break to the Broncos, 2 line breaks there. The Broncos had 140-20. That's when we got put on bad field position. We had to work our way back out of that. 91 tackle percent over the Broncos, 92. So the Broncos had a better effective tackle, but the Broncos had a lot more ineffective tackles. We only missed 26 tackles in this game, which is actually a really good area to touch on. And the big negative areas, guys, before I really touch on my overall thoughts of this game too and round this whole thing out, we got 8 errors to 10, so we won the error count there. The penalty count, 7-4. We got a lot more penalties at the end of that game. At one point, the Broncos had us up on us 7-2. So it's good to see the boys, even with adversity, they didn't put their heads down. They continued to get through their work, and I think that's the biggest key we saw out of this game. A lot of big efforts from a lot of key players, especially Kurt Gatewell, especially Adam Fanor-Blake, a couple of guys that we did want to see it out of, that we haven't seen a lot out of this year, especially, Curdy Gatewell. I thought he had one of his better games in this one. It was a really, really good game overall from the boys to get over top of a top competition, missing a lot of players, but still a good competition in the Brisbane Broncos. So I'm just going to jump over to see where it actually got us on the ladder from, because it hasn't updated on the actual .com, but I know that you get a live ladder here on the app on your phone. So it puts us in 12th position. So we're in line with the Raiders, the Dragons, all on 7 wins. The Broncos with 7 wins. They're in the 8 currently right now. The Seagulls are 7 wins as well. So we're in line with the Seagulls and all that. The Cowboys are the only team outside of the 8 that have 8 wins. So really we're up abouts where we're just 1 win away from getting in that 8 position. So we're back on the winning track, which is good to see. And we got a really good matchup coming up this weekend too. And we'll touch on that a little bit more on our midweek shows too, guys. We won't touch on it a little bit too much in this one. But we do have a really good run of matchups, especially, we got one more matchup here, the Doggies. It's going to be a tough game against the Doggies, but then we run into a bye, and then we're going to run our way home with some really solid matchups there. So really, really good signs in this performance here, guys. We'll go through a couple of big stat winners here. So the top stat performers for our side, Mitch Barnett with 32 tackles. The Broncos, 50 tackles with Corey Jensen. A great effort there from Corey Jensen. 173 run meters from Mitch Barnett, back off of Origin. He definitely showed out for us. He was absolutely incredible. And a line break there with Chanel Harris-Tavita. I think we separated the line breaks with a lot of different people. Shout out to Roger UPTHEWAHS getting his 2nd try for the season or 3rd try for the season. Really, really good to see, but we'll run for the stats. Chanel Harris, Chance out the back, 171 run meters. Dallin Watene-Zalesniak, 128 run meters. Roger UPTHEWAHS 125 run meters out of their back end. Marcelo Montoya, 128. Adam Pompey, 96. Chanel Harris-Tavita and Tamade Martin both did well with the running boot there too, guys. 73 run meters and 61. Adam Fanor-Blake, 164 run meters. Back to see what we want to see with Adam Fanor-Blake with 61 post-contact. Incredible. Wade Egan, 49. Jacko Ford, 64. Nothing to really write home about there. Marata Niokore even went off with the stint with the HIA, came back on 103 run meters. Is where you want to see edge back rollers at about that 100 range. Mitch Barnett, 173 run meters with 67 post contact. Amazing, especially, coming out of Origin camp. So good to see he brought that back to our boys and just the effort plays there. Tohu, only a limited minutes here too, guys, but with 21 run meters, so that's interesting. 26 minutes, so we are limiting Tohu's minutes, which is, I think a lot of people do agree with that. Where Dylan Walker, 56 minutes in the middle, 157 run meters, and he looked amazing from the middle with his foot speed. Other notable names there, Jazzy Tavangas, 91, and Kurt Capewell, 75 off 7 runs. So really good run rate there. That's like 10 to 15 a run, which is really good to see from Curdy Capewell. Just jumping through a lot of the other stats before I jump with you guys and go through your questions. Try assist, Tamade Martin, another 3 try assists with Tamade. He's in incredible form at the moment ever since getting the 7 jersey. 1 line break assist, especially add a line break in there with Chanel Harris-Tavita as well. We'll go through the defensive stats here too, guys. So UPTHEWAHS, 16 tackles with 3 misses there. So definitely they attacked a lot more down his edge. Adam Bombay did well, 11 tackles, no misses on that edge there too. Other notable key performances here, as I was saying, Mitch Barnett, 32 tackles, 1 miss. That's a great stat there for him. We've actually averaged out a lot of our workload throughout majority of our side here. No one went up to our 50 tackle mark, which is really good signs to see. But yeah, really, really solid performance, guys. Really, really solid performance. It was great to see that the boys stuck to a game plan, even when the trenches, like they were down in the trenches, things they needed to do, they pulled it out at the end. And whenever they had really good opportunities to strike, they struck. And 6 tries to 3. We didn't convert all our tries. This points could have been a lot more, which is really good to see. The Broncos converted 2 out of their 3 tries. So we could have added another 6 points to that tally. 38-16 would have looked a lot better in our favor. And overall 16-6 at halftime, and we pumped it out to 32-16, which is really, really good to see. Guys, I want you to chuck into the chat. What were your 3-2-1s, guys? Who did you prefer this matchup? Again, this is fresh off of the game too, guys. So really, I'm sorry if I don't have too much of an in-depth chat with this. If you get to see my raw thoughts, go check it out on the live stream. But I'll probably rewatch this game, and when we go for our midweek show, so all you can eat Warriors, you'll see my complete honest thoughts on this game, just rewatching it and watching a couple of players' movements and seeing how I thought how their game went. But I thought Mitch was incredible tonight. Yeah, agreed with a lot of people saying here. So, Tony W, Mitch Dog was immense, 100%, 100%. Jazzy, 100, yes. Strictly Wars, good to see you in here, bro. Appreciate all the support you give us too, man. I see you on Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Mitch's leadership on the field is on. Jacko here, thank you for jumping in, Jacko. You're a credible supporter of the channel. Barnett makes such a difference. It is amazing. It looked like we were losing our way a bit when he was off, and then he comes on. And credit to Webby too. The changes Webby made, you probably saw, I noticed it on when a live stream, and I called it out a couple of times. He made a couple of really key changes. Added Fanor Blake, especially. I think we went down 2 tries there with the Broncos in the second half. And then you saw Adam come on the field. Then you saw Mitch Barnett come on the field. We had a couple of big changes to sway the way. And that was really, really good. It was a really, really good call there. Other 3-2-1s, Isaiah T, I see you here. Tamade Martin with 3, Barnett with 2, Added Fanor Blake with 1. In my opinion, I would have Barnett probably at 1, but I thought Ads had an incredible game as well. It was good to see that everything was running well and he was playing good football. And again, he was proving me wrong, which is really good to see. Hopefully he continues to do that. I want to see consistency out of him now. And usually, this is the thing, I called him out when we're on the back foot, and that's when our leaders need to stand up. We need to see that again from him, again, especially running for the season, because there will be games that will be put on the back foot. We have to chase points, and that's where I felt like Adam Fanor Blake lacks a lot of that leadership at the moment, especially being out of the door. When we're up on football, it's a lot easier to get yourself up for the matchup and get into attacking movements, defensive movements, especially when you know that you're ahead on the scoreboard. So, but I thought he was immense tonight. Got through a lot of good work, and he looked like he was intent with his work, which is really good to see. Lussick with the Monowave try celebration. Yeah, Samoan metalhead. Good to see. Good to see Lussick get over. Jacko, yeah, I knew you'd love the Lussick getting over, bro. Yeah, he's a good player, man. He just needs to continue to improve, and I think a lot of people will see that now. And this is the thing. A lot of players, when they first get into first grade, they'll end up getting tagged with a lot of names on them, you know what I mean? That's why I feel like Webby does stop a lot of our young juniors coming up. You know, and Freddie Lussick's the best example for that. I know a lot of people, even personally, I have a lot of friends that just don't like Freddie Lussick. And the best thing about Freddie Lussick's game is his effort and his defense. And then when he adds all the other little things to his game, is what you get to see in New South Wales Cup, is, you know, he can actually do really well. His passing game is not as bad as what people actually think it is. And we saw that with the try. He got over the try. Really nice set piece play with Mitch Barnett. Great to see. So shout out to Freddie. Good little stint there off the bench. It was really, really good to see. Man of the match with the Monowave. Yeah, 100%. Into Webby, I felt Webby was reactive, but at least he made changes. Again, into Webby, yeah, if you haven't heard my thoughts overall, like the thoughts of the season, Webby's made changes this season. I just felt like people not notice the changes he's made. And I feel like he's made changes in areas that I think where we were trying to see what we were trying to fix out on. Like Jacko Ford's not played in a set full position at all this year. Like he started off on the left, got moved to the right. It's been moved through the middle now. If you notice the big call that he's had with Tohu going to the bench, he's made that call. Like, these are the things that, like, I don't think a lot of fans see because they want to see the big calls, which is like no SJ in the lineup, which, you know, unfortunately, it might see that there's a bit more positive to the side having Tamada at 7. We saw that in this game. But Webby's made a lot of massive calls that have just gone unnoticed by everyone. You know, when Kurt Capewell came back off injury, a lot of people thought he would be back in the starting lineup. He made that big change and brought him off the bench. And I think Capewell probably had one of his better games for us in this game here. And this is the thing, is like, Warriors fans probably just notice that when we're in a downward slump, a lot of negativity gets around. You just start to notice, like, we want this guy changed, this guy changed, this guy changed. Like, Webby's been very shrewd with his changes, and he has changed it up a lot. It's just people just haven't noticed it. And that's just my opinion on it. GT, 100% Vani for captain. It might happen, bro. But I think it's more of a respect thing for Tohu too. But yeah, Barney is definitely... Even without the captaincy, I think Barney is definitely our leader. And he knows that when Tohu's not in our lineup, Barney's our preferred captain. And I think he was a big miss over the last weekend, because I feel like when people go out of line, I think Barney definitely is one of those guys that look people dead in the eyes and say, are you putting 100% effort in? If not, fuck off. Like, I think he's that type of guy. And it's good to have him back in our lineup, which is really good to see. Jackie, a good game for AFB, but who knows? He may go MIA next week. And that's the thing, Jacko. We just need to see consistency, eh? Like, it's just like week after week, we need to see him turn up, and especially when we're on the back foot. That's where all the things go behind us this year. We haven't got resiliency in our team with, like, you know, when things don't go our way this year. We've lost that from last year, and that's what I mean. With having Adam Fanor-Blake being a leader, as he was last year, when we've gone down last year, he was one of our players that got us out of the fire. And I felt like that went missing this year. And those are the key areas. Like, he's always going to fill the stat sheet, but a lot of what people miss is the effort areas when we go down. And that's the thing, is like, that's what I want to see from Ads. So he was great. Strictly was D-Walks. Good to see D-Walks in there, bro, with 3. Tomato Martin with 2. Uncle Bunny with 1. I love that. Freddie back, ask it. Yeah, good to see. Isaiah T, what do you think kept the Broncos back in this game? In my opinion, bro, I don't want to be like a strictly Broncos fan and that, but I felt like the referee had a little bit of hands on it, a little bit. Like, as I said before, at one point, it was down on a 7-2 penalty count. You know, that Marita knock on was I couldn't believe that didn't get called. And then off the back of that, we had a really good defensive set. And I think it was a 5th tackle play. I think Barnett got called for a penalty. I think it was a ruck infringement too, which was like, those are the moments in the game where, you know, like, as a Warriors fan, that's when the boys, their heads usually go down. But it's good to see we still kind of fought it out there. And, like, I know we conceded points, but it was after, like, repeat set after repeat set after repeat set on our line. It was really good to see from the boys there holding with that effort there too. Sorry, guys, my voice is probably starting to die. I just had a massive live stream, as you know. Strictly Wise TV, Freddie, wicked, bro. Come with a lot of energy and defensively, 10 out of 10. And it's good to see people get around Freddie now too. Like, hopefully people stay around Freddie. Like, he's a young hooker that's still learning. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Zaki Camp, Walker's the man. Agreed, brother. Agreed. Isaiah T, Nick Goodere, high tackle, Jacko error. Are you pointing out? Fuck, from memory. Jacko's error was, yeah. I think I know where you're on the track there with. I'll just agree with you, bro. Jazzy, it won't be too long before I prefer to have Lussick over Freddie. Lussick over Egan. By the way, he's going. Love Egan when he's on, though. And that's why we kind of swayed the way I think Levon's even touched on a lot of times, maybe starting with Freddie and bringing Wade Egan off the bench. Wado's still, I still think Wado's still the better hooker by far, but I think Wado's body is like limited him. And maybe, again, a lot of people are pointing out like his tackle tech probably needs to get a little bit better. He gets himself caught in the fire a lot, and he gets through a lot of defensive work. That's the thing. Where Freddie's definitely a better tackler of the football. Like, he hits perfect. He's got like that Jakey Trebojevic type of tackle mold. Hits perfectly under the ball. And it's good to see people are starting to really see that now. It's good to see, because I know there's a lot of negative stigma around Freddie Lussick. Jacko here, Capewell's best game for us. Yeah, Barney, OP Lee, Barney for sure. Capewell almost earned the Capewell for me. Yeah, that was a good game from him, though. Good game. He was absolutely gassed and kept going. And that's what Capewell does. It's all the little things, bro. It's all the little things. Jazzy, 100 plus. Yeah, I just read that out. Fuck, my head's completely gone. CNK, stop, Cobbo, a penalty. Yeah, I agree, Jacko. I thought that wasn't too much of a penalty. He didn't really have the option to wrap his arm because of the way he came into the tackle. I think if he got on the outside, he could have been able to wrap the arm. I don't think that was a traditional shoulder charge. Like, usually a shoulder charge, you see it fully cocked. I think he tried to wrap, but he got caught inside. So I think it's body to body. There's not a lot of fullback can do in that position when you got someone big like Selwyn Cobbo streaking down the sideline. Like, shout out to Chanel for Chancey getting his body in front. Jazzy, where's your old man? I don't think they're here. Well, I haven't seen him. Again, like, I have to see if like they've jumped on my camera or something like that, but they were supposed to be here unless they've come in and just chilling watching football in the lounge room or something like that. Who knows? But I would put him on, but I don't think he likes to be in front of the camera. He'll probably call referee or something. But Barnett was the difference. Yeah, Buzzman, for sure. Anyone else not feeling CNK this year? I'd prefer to Picky. Austin, I don't agree, bro. It's all the little things that CNK does that like Tuapiki doesn't have in his game just yet, but Tuapiki's absolutely incredible. If you watch his cup game today, like, the kid's a freak, and like I could see a lot of people why they want to go Chanel into the center and have Tuapiki out back, but in my opinion, I don't like Chanel Chancey at center. I just don't. Like, it doesn't suit him to me, and he gets through a ton of work out the back. Like, if you're going to call out a guy that runs for closer, 171 meters in this game, close to 200 meters a game, I think consistently this year he's running for 200 plus. And when we saw that he had Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at fullback early on the season with the back shape, it wasn't suiting us with that shape because Roger doesn't have that slick ball playing that Chancey does. And then off the top of that, probably Tuapiki probably has the slightly better playmaking ability. So in my opinion, Chancey is our preferred fullback, and we should be getting behind him and riding with him because he doesn't do a lot wrong, in my opinion. Adrian, 2 years in the making, the garage match, the day Chanel Harris-Tavita gets his revenge. Josh Curry. Love it, Adrian. Jacko here. Now play Egan with Lussick off the bench. It seems to work right now. Agreed, Jacko. Either way, we can look at playing him two different ways. You know what I mean? You could start off with Lussick and then bring Egan on, or you could start with Egan and bring Lussick on. So it works either way. Steffi, yep. All the middles were good tonight. Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. Strictly Bars TV. I thought he attempted to wrap Jacko. That's what I was just saying before. Yeah, I agree. OP Lee, tonight was a glimpse of the Watson last year. Stood up in defense, kept it simple. Forward has confidence issue at the moment. Team played well, but it was not. We are not starting to be a concern with CNK's performance of late. Didn't seem to have safe flair as he did last year. Again, bro, I think like Chance, like you forget about the Cowboys game where he had that flick pass and stuff. Like Chancey has that in his game, but Chancey at some games it just allowed he just gets through his work, and that's the thing with Chance. He's never out of the game. If you're talking about all the little things he could do in his game, I felt like it was a tiny bit off tonight, but Chancey doesn't usually get those fully wrong all the time. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why people are really 171 run meters, 58 post contact meters, had too many big moments errors wise in this game, in my opinion. I think the only error I thought was he had one error, but also the error I think was the 40-20, like he was caught maybe infield, maybe too much at that point. But bro, he's probably one of the most sturdy fullbacks in the competition. As I said before, he runs for 200 meters a game usually. So he's not again, why do we want to continue to change a lineup that works? It works well. And we just seen it tonight. Unfortunately, I feel like our preferred halves pairing now seems to be Tamani Martin, Chanel Harris-Tavita. And not unfortunately, because I think that's incredible, but unfortunately for Shawnee and his injuries and stuff like that, I feel like our best lineup is Tamani Martin, Chanel Harris-Tavita. It unlocks a lot. And when we play front foot footy, Adam Fanor-Blake comes into the game and we become really hard to stop. So I feel like we have a good lineup here. We don't need to change it. Jacko, about a shoulder charge, agreed, bro. That's what I thought too. And yeah, Jacko, he isn't good. We saw it at Kiwis. He doesn't play center well. I agree. And he's not a winger either. I think he gets through his best work through the middle out of our back end. And people forget those little things. It's the little parts of the game that if we had Tuapiki out back, he does really well through the work in the middle and stuff like that. He works well at contact. But Chancey's about 100K plus, off the back end, 100 kg plus off the back end, runs those third tackle hit ups that no one wants to run, especially if we're on the back foot, and we start our sets through him. Like, there's a difference between the two. Like, and Chancey, he's experienced, he's been there before, doesn't do too much wrong. Where Tuapiki is a little bit young, exuberant, like he's cool to watch, he's awesome, but again, like, a preferred lineup for me is Chance out back. We just come off a win. Like, I don't think we need to be looking any other way. Yeah, the future for sure is Tuapiki, bro. Tuapiki is definitely our future, but like, you know, at the moment, Chancey's there and he's doing an amazing job in my opinion. Yeah, again, strictly was. I agree. I think people aren't seeing the amount of work that Chancey's putting in. And it's all the defensive movements too. Just like the amount of tries that were saved tonight, like Dallin had a massive try saver and stuff, but Chancey always gets his body in front and he stops that forward momentum as best as he can. Like, he also calls a lot of people out in their lines. Like, he's really, really good out the back. When I watch him live, he's never the problem, in my opinion. I'm just stating his input is consistent, but he did hit more highlights last year. Yeah, agreed, bro. But like, again, like, he's playing off the back of probably a team that has been underperforming too. Like, when we get into good attacking shape is usually when he plays his best football too. Like, when we're looking at highlight plays, I feel like this year with Tamade in, it does look like Tamade prefers to play left side of the ruck, but as a halfback, so that left side unlocks. The right side is like playing a little bit different. But even our right side, I thought there was a couple of really nice moments our right side. Maratini Kore almost getting over a try with a nice short ball, under ball. Yeah, like, again, I can't complain with the way we're attacking right now. Like, from what I've seen with Tamade Martin and Shania Stavida as a halves pairing, like, and then having, you know, Chancey out the back, like, it's a good squad. Like, it's a really good squad, and I can't see to change it at all. Yeah, Jazzy, Tuapiki wasn't going to get an NRL experience. The state of the Bears, Austin, at least he's with us, and he's been amazing. His growth as well, guys, like, this is like, he will grow to such a good fullback in the future. Like, he's such, like, his growth from first getting to first grade, where I started to see him, like, he was good in contact for a smaller body, but he still was getting, like, he was losing those one-to-one efforts, like, you know, trying to get over top of people, getting quick play balls. That's what Chancey does so well. I always get Chanel and Chancey mixed up. It's that CH sort of look. But when this year already, like, seeing him in cup, seeing him in first grade, he's gotten bigger. He's handling the contact a lot better. He's growing so well. And I understand why people want that, but people also got to understand that, like, how good, you know, Chancey is. Like, as I said, he's averaging right now 194 run meters, 4 tackle breaks per game. Like, the guy's an absolute gun. He's our best, like, meter eater out of our back end. Like, this is what it is. No, we don't need X Factor. Yeah, exactly. We won. Stay solid. 100%. Matt Gobbo, good game for the boys. Tohu Harris got some form back in his game. He only had a little bit of minutes in this game, my brother, but like, that's the thing. That's another thing that people do forget is Webby made the big decision now. Tohu's off the bench now. Like, that's a big decision Webby had to make. Into Webby, what are we going to do with Montoya? I thought Montoya was good other than a couple of moments in that game, but again, you don't see the good stuff that Montoya has in his game too, brother. Like, I don't think there's anyone that we have in Cup that's going to step up to a higher standard, especially late on in the year. Like, again, guys, why are we looking at changing a side that just had a really good performance out there? Jason, CNK is not an X factor. We need X factor. I don't agree. I think when Chancey's on, he's an X factor as well. Like, we do forget how good he was last year. And even in moments like the Cowboys game, you guys, you saw the Cowboys game. You saw the Panthers game when he played 6, and a lot of people wanted him to play 6. Like, I don't understand this whole chat. I really don't. Yeah, exactly. It's a Webby. Even if he's, I don't even think he was that far off in this game. Like, honestly, but average CNK is still like our best, 100%. And that's exactly it, Jacko. CNK another season, then maybe Tuapiki looks like top quality to me. Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. I really do agree. Buzzman, Bulldogs are looking mean. Yes, they are. And we'll look more into them in our midweek shows, my brother. So do stay around for them, our Monday, Tuesday shows, and that will go fully into depth about the Bulldogs this weekend because they are playing a lot like what we played last year. Similar system, the way they play their footy. Defensively, they've been fucking unreal. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be an unreal game. Jazzy, I don't completely agree with Tuapiki eclipsing Walshy and Fa'alongo, but like he'll be up there. To me, he reminds me so much of Jaden Campbell, and I think I have him on that level at the moment. I think Jaden Campbell's probably a little bit further along in his game at the moment, but I think they're on similar trajectories. You know what I mean? Like I think I know Walshy had a bad origin, but people do forget like Walshy is a superstar of this game. Like the way he plays his football is like unreal. He's one of the best fullbacks in the game currently right now. So. I don't think Tuapiki's there yet, but Tuapiki like has an opportunity to be a top 10, top 5 fullback in the game, I believe, maybe. OP Lee, this starting 13 is definitely something Webby should stick with. Agreed, bro. Agreed. It was a good performance. Everything that showed out, and this one was unreal. Jacko here. Folks forget Raiders leading a grand final when CNK went off injured. They lost. Agreed, bro. He was unreal for the Raiders. And even when they dropped in the cup, you just never saw them have a good enough fullback to really replace him from there. So we definitely won that battle there, having Chancey out back. After that BS that SJ was talking this week, which has been disgraceful, we have a realistic team moving forward. Yeah. I don't know if I agree with saying about SJ, the BS at SJ. Like, if you're talking about people going at SJ, I believe that's BS. But, yeah, we should respect people that have done so well for our jersey, honestly. Austin, we won, but we beat a Q-Cup Broncos. It's not that impressive. The performance was impressive, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know it wasn't the greatest team on the opposite end on paper. They still had Selwyn Cobbo. They still had their starting back line. They didn't have, obviously, Walshy out back. Jock Madden has done it over some other squads this year already. Again, agreed for their forward pack was definitely lacking, but the boys still put a 13-plus performance on against the Broncos that had a lot of runs with the referee. Like the eye test, the performance that we ran out there with, we were the more dominant team for the 80 minutes throughout this whole performance. The only time the Broncos got ascendancy was due to penalties out of our back end. That's in my opinion. Did you ever see the Broncos out of their back end make full inroads into our position, just consistently just going over the top? No, like every time we got the ball, we got into there and we attacked them. We caused a lot of errors. We were the dominant team tonight, and we should have been, and we did that. Like, people should take that. Like, any NRL team today, like, we just lost to the Titans that were missing a ton of people by 60. Like, this is a Stark's different performance. Like, people, like, we should be happy. Stop trying to change things. Let's be happy. And especially when we see positive performance from this exact team on paper, we saw one of our best performances of the year against the Broncos. We saw that 3 or 4 game stint with Tamate Martin, Shino Harris, Davida, like against the Panthers, like a top 14, the Dolphins, a top 4 team. Like, let's just be appreciated. Like the effort that was showed, everything was really good here. And maybe, just maybe, like the changes that happened, everything that happened, it's just, this is the team that we should be running out the rest of the year with, by the looks of it. By the looks of it. I might have missed a lot of people here. I'm so sorry, guys. I do ramble on, but yeah, it's yeah. Barnett needs to make the 17 for New South Wales. As a Maroons fan, I say no. As a Warriors fan, 100%. He should fucking be there. He's unreal, bro. Like, he's got to have one of the best, like, he could possibly go down as middle of the year this year. I do believe. Like, even though he's playing on the edge for the majority of the year, but he can cover so many different positions. He's unreal, bro. Unreal. Jacka here, Hammer the best fullback right now for me. Yeah, to each their own, bro. Like, yeah, that's your opinion, 100%. Like, to me, I think currently right now in the game, I think Dylan Edwards is the better fullback consistency-wise. Like, he does better things defensively, work out of his back end. A lot of things that CNK does, he does. I think Walshy, I still have Walshy over the Hammer because Walshy is still like that, just, he's the playmaking threat that the Hammer's not. Like, the Hammer does his stuff with the running game. But that's just my opinion though. Like, I understand why people are swaying that way now, but people do forget, like, when Walsh is on fire, like, Walsh is on fire. You still got KP too. He's injured, but KP's unreal. Like, yeah, there's a lot of great fullbacks in the game, but the Hammer's definitely up there. He's a freak. Jacko, yeah, keep Bunny fresh for us. As a Maroons fan, I say yes to that. Tony W, yes, that BS that people gave to one of our greats. Yeah, BS to that. Yeah, 100%, Tony, 100%. Austin, no, definitely happy, my bro, but the consistency killed me. Sick of coming into every game, having no clue what's going to happen. And like, I feel like you, like after this game, I know you just said you're happy, but after this game, you should see that. That was a consistent 80-minute performance. I know there was a little dip in there, but a lot of that was out of our control. In my opinion, it was out of our control. And the boys even turned up. There was repeat sets on our line, repeat efforts. We weren't getting any sway at certain 50-50s there. And the boys came out with the 13+ performance where they should have. You know what I mean? Like, and if you want to say consistency, this lineup that we have here, like, and it's saying like the key areas of Tamade Martin, Shinohara Stavida, and Chance Nickel Kostak is the same lineup team that like had those big moments there for us in the Dolphins game and the Cowboys game, because Tane Tuapiki was the fullback for the Panthers game. He was unreal there too. So consistency wise, the lineup that we have here is consistent, is holding up defensively, is doing a lot of good things on paper. Until we see a bad performance from these guys here, of like Tamade Martin, Shinohara Stavida as a halves pairing, the people we have on paper here, then we can start looking at like, all right, something's really, really wrong here. But maybe Shawnee's injuries have really hampered us a lot more than what we thought this year. And we're probably seeing it like right now. Him not training with the squad definitely has not helped us. So we've seen that, and like it might look like, yeah, we'll probably run with this to the rest of the season. OP Lee last week was pretty bad for our team. Yeah, but it's a different team that we have on paper now, bro. That's the thing, OP Lee. But yeah, to get a dub together team that's had that, yep, got to give the boys a love for that. The WAHS are evolving as a club, and it's good to see. And like the system's looking good. Like as soon as Shawnee goes down, we put Tamade Martin in there that, you know, in previous years, he was always noted as a 6, a running 6. But he's now being looked at as like he's a 7, and he can run a game plan really well, really effectively. And I think we just need people that are fresh and healthy, and they'll play their best football. So that's a big key point that I think a lot of people should take out of this. 100%. Yeah, Isaiah, I think Jacko's more so, because Jacko is like more like Jacko here. He's a Kiwi fan. He's a Kiwi boy. He doesn't really care for State of Origin too much, Isaiah. But like, you know, he's obviously a full Warriors boy. So as much as we can have Barney in our lineup and we don't lose him in the Origin period, because I feel like he's definitely one of our big leaders, I think that's the way he's going for it. But I think Jacko would say that he is definitely Origin level. He's probably international level type of player at the moment with the play like that he's playing with. Jazzy, I'd have Ponga over the Hammer as well. Yeah, there's a lot. Again, yeah, like the Hammer's a freak too. I don't want to, question Hammer too much, but for me, I'd say Dylan Edwards. I'll still take Walshy. I'll still take KP, and even Teddy. When Teddy's in form, like people probably bash Teddy a lot more than what like is required with Teddy, but Teddy's still a freak of a fullback. Like people forget that. So the Hammer's still like, again, I don't want to take away from the Hammer because I love the Hammer. When he's on, he's fucking on. But you look at like moments like we limited him, that one try that he had on us, but other than that, like we limited him pretty well against the Dolphins. So it was good to see. Tanya, thank you coming in, my homie. I don't care who was in the team. I'm just happy we won, and the more impressive is the way we played. Exactly, Tanya. I know there was a little bit of negativity in the middle of the part of that game, but like all our effort areas that I saw personally that I watched for, like we didn't dip on any of those in this game. Like I felt like there was not one moment where I really felt like, oh, like we're losing this game a lot. Like there's momentum shifts in football, but I also felt like this group that was on paper could drag it back at any moment and get back on the front foot. So this was a really good performance, guys. Like that's the thing. I understand there was a lot of people that were out of this lineup with the Broncos, but the team that we played on paper there, we could have easily came in this game and like what a lot of people maybe thought with the Titans game, underestimated them and been behind, to start the game or something like that. But we did what we were supposed to do, and it's a really good performance in my opinion with that. We should make a play to get Xavier Willison back to NZ. I would love Xavier, bro. That guy's an absolute gun. The only thing I wouldn't put offside a lot of our young kids that we got coming through right now, because they definitely got a track to be in our first grade squad. We got a lot of big juniors like Zion Ma'u, Dimitri Xifikula, Leka Halasimas, like a lot of really good middle forwards. But I'll take, Xavier Willison at a pinch, bro. I agree. I'd love him at a club. I think he's incredible. I is not. Appreciate you coming through, my bro. SJ needs a good rest, to be honest. Yeah, and agree. Like I feel like that was probably the best way people could actually, go to Shawnee, and instead of saying that he's shit and he's the problem, like, no, I don't think him fully healthy is a problem. Like, I think injuries have held him back this year, and unfortunately, I think Shawnee's having another one of those seasons where just he's trying to fight through injuries, trying to do everything he can for the team, but unfortunately, it's just not helping us when he's not there and not fully there. Where Te Maire Martin's fully healthy, fully ready to go, and he's a gunslinger. He's just willing to do it. So we're looking a lot better there with that. So unfortunately, it just is what it is. But I love Shawnee. As you see here, like he's the main reason why I fell in love with the Warriors to start with. So I can't say any bad words about Shawnee. And it disgusted me when everyone was saying that he's the issue, he needs to go, or even just the way people are saying it. Like, we got to respect one of our greats, in my opinion. Like, agreed, strictly wise, Barney is definitely the voice of our squad, and I think it's been proven. I think it's definitely been proven now. Richard, I'm happy, fans. A win is all I cared about. Beats losing any day. Good win, although a bit sketchy at times. Yeah, like it wasn't the perfect performance. We had a couple of errors in our games, like, you know, a couple of big moments too, but I felt like, you know, majority of the game, we were steady. We got through our work. It was a really good performance, in my opinion. So we can definitely, like, jump on top of that. Like, we get better from that. But, like, the performance we had here, especially with the laid out of Shawnee, all that sort of stuff, with the guys regrouping off a slapping, it's good to see. Like, we did that. Yep. Agreed, Philip, my bro. Agreed. Good all-round performance. I think everyone's agreeing on that now. Barnett, de facto captain. Exactly. Even if he doesn't have the C on his name, he's definitely one of our leaders out there. And it's something that when he's not in the lineup, we're starting to see the starkest difference between the two. You know what I mean? So it's good to have him there. We might as well touch on that, Austin. That's a really good point. I'll bring your comment up. But if anyone saw the New South Wales Cup game today, it was a really solid performance. A lot of errors in our game, but like we started off with a bang. We were very dominant over the Raiders in the New South Wales Cup. The Raiders had to, for me, in my opinion, fall back into like trying to drag this game back by pulling us under into their own style. So very dirty, finding their own ways and that. And we came away with the 24-18 victory, but unfortunately we had two send-offs and a sin bin in that game. Jacob Laban, unfortunately getting sin bin for getting punched in the face twice somehow. Sent off, sorry, for getting punched in the face twice by Corey Horsburgh. Couldn't believe that. Arlair did come in late, look like maybe a swinging arm or something like that. I don't think it was an incredible punch that he threw, but yeah, that was a horrendous call. I don't know. Like, I don't know if he did anything before that. I didn't get to see any tape before that, what Laban did to like do that, like for Corey Horsburgh to do that. But again, yeah. But this is what Corey Horsburgh too. He's very much like he plays football to the fullest extent. Like I don't know Corey personally, but I know like all my boys know Corey personally. Like we grew up around the same area and that. Like he's from Caboolture, he's from Morayfield. He's actually a really good, nice person. Like he's a gun, but when he's on that football field, like he's highly emotional, and that's what makes him such a good player because he gets through a ton of work. His effort's always there, and it just seems like maybe like something pushed him over the edge. He punched him with a two-piece on Laban, which didn't. He had his hands down. Like I was like, bro, Corey, like what are you doing? But yeah, I couldn't believe the referee calling that. Like crazy. Jackie, anyone thinking Te Maire Martin is as good, let alone better than Eshe is nuts? Yeah, agreed. Like a healthy Eshe is still better than Te Maire Martin, in my opinion, too. Like, this is the thing. I think we've just been hampered with an unhealthy Eshe throughout this whole season. Like, people forget, like, the best parts of Eshe, his kicking game, his playmaking is still unreal. But what took away from his game with the injuries is his running game and him getting so deep into the line and just playing out the back. He lost that. He just started playing out the back due to his injuries, I believe, and just running through sets because of things as second nature. You know what I mean? Like when everything goes well, when SJ is healthy, he's still our better half. But at the moment, we're still just as good of a side with Te Maire Martin at number 7. So take all the time for SJ to get back healthy and ready to go, and then we'll see where our cards lie. But then we got to think of Te Maire Martin. We can't have him and SJ lined up because they're both 7. So we'd probably have to have the way this team works perfectly is exactly how you saw the Blues play in Origin, is to have a 7 and a 6. The 7 dictates both sides of the ruck. The 6 plays as a foil on the left side, and then have your fullback post up on the right side sweeps. And that's how you get your extra number on both sides. So that's the way our lineup works perfectly. When we have 2 7s that like to dictate one off the ruck, when we split the field down in 2, it doesn't work because we don't create the extra number well enough, and Chauncey gets caught both sides, like trying to play both sides. It just doesn't really work for us. Like the way it works is exactly how you saw the Blues win over the Maroons over the weekend, is having that dominant 7 that plays both sides of the ruck, have that number 6 that plays second fiddle and play fuck it footy when he needs to, and then having like, your fullback posted up on the right side with the right side sweep like a Dylan Edwards played on the weekend. That's where Chancey plays. So that's what that's a really good way of how we play football. We can't play with 2 sevens, in my opinion. Punched and choke under the post that led to the try. Is that what Laban did to Horsburgh, Philip? Just confirm, brother. But yeah. Strictly was Big Red couldn't knock the froth off a bit. I'll tell Corey he said that. Jazzy, when we line up against Big Red, we just sledge the fight. He is a good player, though. He's very much a good player. Yeah, Buzzman, I think this could be our hearts for the rest of the season if Shawnee doesn't come back healthy enough. At least he wasn't crying. Yeah, exactly, Jacko. Exactly. I think I just wanted to see if we could make it work because, like, we had that, I guess we'll call it a variable game against the Rabbitohs where it worked, but I felt like we played so much off the back of Wade Egan in that game. And I just wanted to see, like, how, if we were able to make it work, because I would have loved to see SJ there. Whether SJ's injuries hampered that combination, I still don't know. But at the moment, I'm coming to the fact of, like, we just can't play with Tamati Martin and SJ in the same lineup. They're both sevens, and we can't play that old school style footy where you half the field because we can't create the extra number in a new form of defensive systems. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand too about footy is, like, the reason why that set looks is kind of how I explained it before, like that attacking shape, like, looks. You have Tamati Martin that dictates, like, he'll play the right side, then he can sway to the left side, and Chanel becomes the extra number playing like a second fullback look, if that makes sense. Even though he plays 6, he plays out the back of shape and he creates the extra number on a 3-on-2 option out the back of an edge back rower. Then you look at your right side, straight off the ruck, if he played his natural side Tamati Martin on the right side, you have Chanel that plays that second 5'8", that fullback look that creates the extra number, the 3-on-2 options that you're going to create on the outside. So that's the reason why the 2 halfback look doesn't really suit us in this game too. Also, majority with our link man as well that we run with our 13, like Dylan Walker or Tohu, is that we're lacking to have that extra number getting created because a lot of our, like, Tamati Martin likes to play with an edge back rower on the outside of him. He likes to use an edge back rower. And Shawnee does exactly the same thing. So we aren't creating the extra number because we just end up playing short at the end of the day. So that's what I think. It doesn't really work. I could be a little bit wrong. Like, I've never been in an NRL system, but like just growing up playing footy and being in other systems like a sports academy system and all that sort of stuff, like that's from my knowledge how it works. Because you got your 3 parts of your field, you got your tram lines too, where you run your tram line sets, and that's how you create your extra number. Like you run your edgy on a tram line that creates either a short side raid if you want to over number that side, or you have an over number on the other side too, depending on how that opposite edge back row numbers up. There's a really good video I saw on, I think it was on Instagram, talking about in the Origin. You saw Jeremiah and I screwed up the numbers on Origin. I think it was for the Dylan Edwards try. He should have called Harry Grant over onto his side. He should have pushed Harry Grant to the opposite side. But that's what a tramline set does. It creates that extra number. You think you got to over number one side, especially for a short side raid, but the numbers are on the opposite side. So an open side shift works. And that's the way our attacking system works too. So if we don't run those sort of shape and we don't create the extra number, we're not going to run a perfect set, and we end up like taking away space from our outside men, in my opinion. That's the way I think it works. So I might be talking like well too in depth there too, guys, and I'm sorry for that. But again, like from my knowledge, that's how it works. You know what I mean? That's how like our system really works properly. Like the opposite look of that is sort of like if you look at the Roosters and how they play their football, because they don't have a link man, that 13 is not a link man anymore. And I think like unlock their football is because they have so much attacking athletic threats on either end. They separate the field. They let Sammy Walker play one off the ruck everywhere. Sort of like how Nico Hines plays with the Sharkies. And they don't have a link man that stops that option. You know, currently watching the Eels, that's the way they play their footy. Their 13 doesn't play the link man play. Mitch Moses likes to get it one off the ruck and play front foot footy. So we don't usually play like that. We play with the link man usually, but yeah, it's a difference between numbers and stuff because it is a numbers game at the end of the day. Like football, if you take it away, is a simple game. You want field position and you want to create numbers. That's the best way for an attacking team. That's how you win football games. And again, like I probably want to do a sit down and talk about our attacking system, our attacking shape, because I know there's a lot of questions on certain things with our side. Like when Sean Johnson's in a lineup, a lot of people question that right side bomb that always goes up. And what people don't understand is the reason why you see the repeated right side bomb is because people don't understand our attacking sets from our back end. So the work rate we get from our back end is so good, we get into that 40 to 30 zone in the opposite end of the field, if that makes sense. So every NRL system that you see these days, you look at the Panthers, you look at like any of the best systems in the game. As soon as you're in that 40 or 30 zone, the only kick a lot of teams want to put up is a right side bomb because you get airtime under it. You get a defensive line set and you can get down there and put pressure and umbrella defense into a corner. That's the reason why you see the majority of our kicks when Shawnee's in there is because he's the higher IQ halfback a lot of the times too. But like when we go for our sets, a lot of our kicking options come within that 40 to 30. It's also the reason why we don't have 40-20s in our game because our back three works so hard. If you notice in the other game, you can only count on your fingers, legit, the amount of times that, like on one hand, the amount of times that we get limited behind our 50. So we don't need a 40-20 option because the 40-20 option, if we play with that, especially with the way we play our football, like if the fullback gets it straight down his throat or he picks it up if it doesn't find grass, that opposite team has all that field position to run all the way back and get the field position on us again, and it changes momentum again. So that's the reason why a lot of things happen the way they happen. And it's the reason why we run the sets that we do. And like, that's why I get confused when a lot of people are like, I hate that Shawnee continues to do a right side bomb, but there's a reason for it. And, it's a lot of things what people don't notice. That's in my opinion. So, but yeah, defensively was the only thing we definitely lacked the last couple of weeks. And it's good to see that we've kind of honed that back in again. And it's just resilience. And it's good to see the team we had on paper did that today. But hopefully I didn't ramble on too much and I didn't say anything that bored anyone out there. But that's what I see. Like, when I study the game, when I really look at it, like just growing up in like Australian systems and stuff like that, like the way everything got broke down for us was like you got like 3 to 4 points on your field. This is where you need to get to. As soon as you get here, these are your options here. And so people don't understand how many options you actually get given as a halfback, as a playmaker. Because in your head, if you don't have any game plan, you don't have any system, you like as soon as you get into like a certain point in the field, you're going to come up with the worst options, if that makes sense, and not the highest percentage option. And that's the reason why our game plan runs out the way it is. And that's why our game plan is so rock solid. If you watch the Panthers, they play the game plan so perfectly. So if you look at us, like our game plan revolves around our defense limiting the opposite team in their own end and turning the field position advantage. Like the best way I can explain that is if you watch soccer and the way Pep Guardiola uses a high press and he gets the ball back in the really good field position. So if you notice a lot of our kicks that we got back, that chance he charged back with, usually fall within the 30 to 20. So we can get back into that our 30 to 40. So our sets start from there. And when you think in the top of your head, right, everything goes perfectly, we can already, from our own 10 meter zone, we can get over that 50 meter zone. So if we're going to catch the ball from the 30 meter line or the 20 meter line from our zone, think the extra 20 meters on top of that. So that's an attacking field position that we get in there. So that's the way football works for our side, and that's our system. So I'll do a proper thing that I'll talk about that at all. So I think it would be really good for a lot of people and it really open a lot of eyes of the reason why things go wrong. It's not the system going wrong. It's not anything like that. Sometimes it is just us lacking defensive focus and also just not tying in a lot is what hampers us so much. Our system, our game plan works. Like we get the best way to show that too is we're the best team in the competition for getting into the opposite 20 or in attacking field position. Like we 35 times a game we're attacking in the opposite 20 or something like that. By the looks of this, I think 35 tackles a game. The Panthers is just as good. The Bulldogs are just as good. We're not going to be attacking out of our back end because that's silly because as many areas that you get out of your back end, you put yourself under pressure the way the Broncos do. So it's the reason why we do the way we do, in my opinion. But yeah, guys, at the end of that, anything else that you guys want to ask me before I go? But incredible gameplay, incredible game from the boys. I felt like it was amazing. I just can't wait to go out there. Hopefully my dad is out there. I'm sure they said they're coming back later on tonight and we're just going to have a dinner tonight and all that. So I can talk shit. It will be really, really fun. But yeah, let me know. Strictly Wise TV, you speak facts, bro. That is what I like. Not boring. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. Again, I don't think I know my shit more than like probably like a first grader or any guys that have been in a proper system. But like as I was saying, when I played footy growing up, I think I learnt the game, but my body wasn't doing the game properly. If that makes sense, I couldn't think that well under pressure. Where a lot of these best players out here, like they think so well under pressure. Like every player that's on that football field is like 10 million times better than like your player in like juniors or like in like regular football. Like people don't understand like how good these people are. But yeah, systems, bro. Systems. I love talking about systems. I love thinking about systems and the way we can break down sides. And it interests me. Like you look at like the way Billy's probably going to implement. If you saw in this game, Cobbo for a little second there played a 13 look and they played a 2 fullback look out the back of shape. Billy was probably going to play with that in Origin if Walshy didn't go down. It would have been an interesting look because the Maroons have done it before with Michael Morgan and from memory, maybe Billy Slater. Was it Billy? They had run Billy on one side and the opposite side, Michael Morgan out the back of shape and had a 2 fullback look, especially when they have a limited middle. I was really curious to see how that played out, but we did really well to try and limit so much of Selwyn Cobbo because he still had a really good game. I thought Selwyn had a little bit of errors in his game, but when he started getting it going on, he was really hard to handle. Like 2 line breaks against us. I thought he was really, really solid. Everything Gucci, we played much better than the last 2 games. Agreed. And it was a little bit of a different lineup. So yeah. I is Knights, less minute Tohu is good for defense. It's like, yeah, exactly. And sometimes I think it's the lateral movement for Tohu that limits him a lot more because he's battered up. Like he's just getting through games. And I think that's why I say, like to start the season or when things were going wrong, a lot of people were questioning Webby changing a lineup. We changed our lineup that many times. Like I don't think people really understand. And even if you look at it, when it came down to Tohu coming back of injury and all that, we ran Dylan Walker as that starting 13, and we haven't stopped doing that. Tohu's off the bench now. You know what I mean? Like that's his role. We dropped Kurt Capewell to a bench. Like that's another big call from Webby. We moved Jackson Ford from a left to the right to the middle. That's a big call from Webby. Like Webby's made a lot of massive calls this season that people aren't giving any like love to, in my opinion. Like that's just me. Like I know a lot of people like he picks the same lineup. It's a stagnant lineup. Like he doesn't. Like there's a lot of little things that he does that he changes a lot of things up. And yeah, like that's just my thoughts. Michael, thank you for the chat. Class, love hearing how you break it down. Thank you, my bro. Jazzy, my Bronco mates are ignoring my messages. Softies. Much relax, man. Carl, thank you, my bro. Appreciate you, man. Jacko, love this. I'll probably end off on a couple of these guys. Jacko here, 8 games left. Need to win 6 of the last 8. Yep. Yeah, exactly. That big loss definitely wrecked our points differential. Hopefully we continue to drag that back. And the 6 games we have left is for a lot of people would say is a soft draw, but at the moment we just can't look at it as a soft draw. We got to continue to keep chugging along. Like these are all winnable games, in my opinion, for the rest of the season. I would say like we have the ability maybe to drop 1 or 2 of these, but hopefully we just go in, reset, do our game plan, do it to effects, and get 1 after 1 after 1 wins. Like, yeah, that's why I see us running to the rest of the season. Throw a shade over. Bumpy missing 6 points. He's been good with the kicking boot, other than like that game was probably his worst with the kicking boot, with goal kicking, but he's been good. What's your quick thoughts on us versus Dogs? Bro, it's going to be probably a 1-12 contest. It's going to be a lot of like the exact same system getting thrown at each other. I think the Doggies attack has opened up a lot since probably the Panthers game. That's when I started to notice they started playing Burton both sides of the ruck. So I'm curious to see how we go with that. Speed is something there if like they got Josh Adokar and Bronson Sherry on the edge. I don't know when Adokar's back in that lineup, but even then, like we do struggle with speed. I think it's going to be a close game. Defensively is where it's going to be 1-0 loss, and at the moment the Doggies are a better defensive side than us, but I'd be happy for us to continue to perform the way we are performing right now. I think we can get over top of them. It's going to be close though, bro. It's not going to, like, they haven't lost a game at a core stadium this year from memory, like at home. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the stat. Jacko here. Not all these calls have worked though, Ash. For me, Webster is like, oh yeah, 100% Jacko. Like, but like the whole argument of Webby doesn't change anything is like, I feel like is not true. But like, that's my thought on it. But again, yeah, you're right. Like not all of it has worked. Like I think Jacko moving to the right side didn't really work. I think maybe putting Shawnee back into a lineup running a 2-7 didn't really work, even though that, like, you know, ran the same sort of thing. But yeah, people forget all the other big changes he had. Like dropping Tohu, our captain, to a bench is a big call, and it could change a lot of like the morale with the side, but it's going really well. Catewell being a big signing coming into our lineup and then pushing him to a bench role and just like pushing away Murata's like the role that he was coming in with the season, being a middle forward. That's a big call as well. Like he's made a lot of big calls in my opinion and done really well with it. So, but again, yeah, he's learning, bro. He's still a young coach and he's doing a lot of good things, but he has done a couple of questionable things. So he just got to continue moving forward. But I wouldn't rather any other coach right now for our side. I think he's the best coach to build for the rest, like for our future, for sure. Like other than obviously a top 5 and that, but I think like his personality and that just suits the Warriors. I think he's incredible for us. All right, I'm pretty much going to really end it off there, guys, but I really do appreciate every single one of you guys coming through. Thank you so much for joining us on the watch along too, guys. And, you know, the chat was pumping. And even here, 114 people currently watching right now. You guys are all absolutely incredible. Do tune in to the rest of the shows coming through this week. I'm not too sure if Levon will have a off-the-top sort of review from this with this game, but he'll probably do his usual of like gameplay breakdowns when he gets home. And also Monday show, I think, is still in order to go. The Mean Feed podcast, go check out Joshy Gage and Levon on that. We'll be back. All You Can Eat Warriors on Tuesday, so tune in for that one too, guys. It's going to be amazing chat going into next week's game. And then, yeah, I'm really excited. I probably won't be on watch along next week because I got a birthday party and all that to get to, but this has been fun, guys. I'll always love talking to you guys. You guys are the best community. It's always good to have objective, like really good chat both ways. I learn things, you learn things. It's the way we do it. Like we're a community. That's the way we work. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Cheers, Jacko. Cheers, Strictly Wars. Appreciate all your support, guys. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Jazzy. Always being there with the moderator, man. Like, you know, getting us up there. Quick likes all day. Adrian, appreciate you, Babala. Hey, yo, appreciate every single one of you guys. Have a good night, guys. Have a good weekend. Up the Warriors. Great victory from the guys. I'm going to talk to my dad and talk some shit. Later, guys.